this show goes on, I am finding it harder and harder to stay on the internet only. And things obviously escape the internet's containment. We talk about this all the time. So this is something that is kind of a bit of both. Real life internet, it started on the internet, but it's outside. It's purview. So, all that is just to say that this week we're going to talk about Disney adults. So let's dive in. That was the exact response I was hoping for from both of you.
Yesterday when I was editing audio for the episode that's coming out on the January 27th, I opened up our Google Drive to download your audio files, and I saw that Harlan had like 4 different new documents added, maybe 5.
Yeah. It was 4. It was just 4.
I quickly scanned the title. There was like across the top. One of them said Disney Adults, and I was like, God, I hope that's not tomorrow.
I love dropping little clues, little breadcrumbs for you guys in the shared drive.
I have no idea what it is though. Am I a Disney adult? Can you answer that right now?
Do you think you're a Disney adult?
I don't know. Is it bad to be a Disney adult?
That's the thing about this. This very much reminded me of when we talked about furries, and I don't want this episode to be us just ragging on Disney adults, because it could be it is very easy to do that. Mm-hmm. It is a deeper thing, and a lot of it is about, like, you know, people's obsessions and how, or their passions or their hobbies, and like a little bit of it is fine, but you fucking start to veer down the obsession path and it gets a little harmful.
Sure.
It's the same thing with like the furry community or any of that stuff.
Any community.
You know,
it's fandom. It's really like, you know, cosplay is like rolled into that also. It's
for people watching or listening, I'm going to try my best to not just make fun of these people, and try and do a bit of a deeper dive into why Disney adults exist. And
I'm starting to feel like I'm not a Disney adult.
You are. I can confirm, Kyle, that you are not a Disney adult.
I'm an adult who likes Disney movies.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
hey,
same.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a thing too.
I'm a card-carrying Disney Plus member.
Yep, 100%. Signed up on day 1, baby.
Yep.
So let's just like get into what sort of the definition, right? So Disney adult, that the term is a slang term used disparagingly against adults who are overly obsessed with Disney and its products, to the point where they treat it less like a company and more like a lifestyle and identity.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that's a problem with anything that you're into. I mean, we see it all the time with politics, where you let your political beliefs be the determining factor
Your personality.
of your personality. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Why are you worshiping politicians? They're public servants. Don't do that. It's weird. Why are you worshiping Mickey Mouse? It's kind of weird. He's a
I got it.
He's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Harry Potter adults probably also exist.
It's millennials. I mean, it's
Millennials going wild, baby.
Millennials get shit for being Disney adults and Harry Potter kids, and it's really embarrassing.
Guys, when we were at a certain age, we had 9/11 happen, and all we wanted to do was disassociate. And so everybody took their own path. I went to tiki bars. You know, we're all young.
I self-medicated personally, but that's just me.
I cracked open the old Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition book and World of Warcraft. So those big,
that's
big time.
That
for
was
me.
another parallel I wanted to point, because we all have those little things. I mean, I became a fan of Dungeons and Dragons relatively late in life, and it's no different. There's people that fucking have, like, Dungeons and Dragons is what they choose to have identify their personality, and I don't think that's any healthier. But
I sent something to you guys a while ago. There was a guy that has a game that has been going on for like 30 years.
Every woman I date has to know that this comes first, and like all this stuff. It's
and
like,
he's got
Jesus.
a daughter.
okay, well, hang on.
Yeah.
So obviously, despite the phrase being coined in the late 2010s, Disney adults have obviously been a growing trend, specifically among millennials. You know, considering the time that we were children in the 90s and 2000s, when Disney animation was like fucking exploding.
You mean popping off?
The
popping
golden age.
off. The golden age of those thick fucking VHS cassette tape cases.
Mouse ears,
Love those
mouse ears. Everywhere.
But now we've aged into adulthood and we're still holding on to that 90s nostalgia. But it's kind of shifted into this like form of corporate fanaticism, which
Oh shit.
that's the weirdest part is like, and I have a list of all the fucked up shit the Disney company has done since its founding. And that's like a part of me, the socialist part of me, where it's like, don't worship corporations. Like, none of them do good stuff. They all do fucked up shit. Why are we doing this? The moniker Disney Adult existed. People were aware of Disney Adult fans, but they were commonly mocked online, typically being perceived as weird. The sentiment was somewhat prevalent on the internet during the 2010s, though never under the overarching slang term. So there wasn't really a word for these people until around 2017, which I found this interesting. There was a College Humor YouTube sketch. It was like a long-running series called Hot Date, where the sketch was every episode, it was the same two people sitting at a table on a date. And there was a different conceit for each episode. And this one just so happened to be that the guy, much like the person we just talked about telling like love interest, like D&D comes first. It was very much that same thing. And like he ends up showing he has a Disney tattoo and he's like a full-on Disney adult.
Okay.
So that sketch came out in 2017. The same year, a couple months after that, there was another mention of the term Disney adult was referenced on the Disney Tourist blog, but that was more in reference to families with Disney adults who are under 21 must pay the adult price for the Disney dining plan. So it's like inadvertently coining it themselves.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, there was a blog called Polka Dots and Pixie Dust that published an article titled Things to Do at Walt Disney World for Adults that contains another use of the slang term, although it wasn't in like the negative context either, but it also coincided with the phrase in its current usage. Like if you look at Google Trends in like 2009, there's a peak, or 2010, and then another big peak for Disney adults in like 2018 or so.
I will say that this, from my experience, that I have heard this definitely not in a negative connotation. Like there are some very proud self-identifying Disney adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that like you can necessarily say that it is a negative connotation. There is just like people who have that as a part of their personality. And so that's just kind of what it is.
It depends on who is saying it, because a lot of the conversation, especially like this was more of a thing. People were making like YouTube videos and talking about this a lot, like 3 years ago. And like on TikTok back then, everybody was shitting on Disney adults. That's all people were talking about. It wasn't people like being loud and proud with it just yet.
Yeah.
I think they've reclaimed it a little bit since then.
There's a recent Hulu ad. Because if you're like me and watch a Hulu TV show and you're plagued by ads, you will see the same 3 fucking ads every episode you watch. Anyways, one of them is a Disney ad where there's like it's like I think it's like people in like their like late 30s being like, check us out, we're fucking Disney for life. Look at us, we're wearing mouse ears. Like it's like basically like a pro. Yeah, we're Disney adults.
Embrace your the Disney adult inside of you.
I'm wondering is if this is a response to negative glow from the past years, because I don't feel like Disney's marketing team would be. I don't think they'd have a blind eye to like the negative ire of the of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Disney's marketing team is probably resting on piles of money. At this point,
Sure.
Yeah, I think since a lot of things have changed around the Disney adult culture in the last couple of years, where these Disney adults would post videos, especially after COVID, of them going back to the park because it had been closed for like 2 years or whatever, and like posting videos of them like crying, seeing the Magic Mountain. That's a thing at Disney. I've never been to Disneyland. I guess I should say that, by the way.
Oh shit.
Magic Mountain is a different area, a different theme park.
okay, whatever the fuck is at Disney, the big castle that they have or whatever, and them going and seeing it and like breaking down and crying. And
it's the Magic Kingdom, Harlan.
Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Thank you. I obviously not a Disney adult, the perfect person to be covering this topic.
If life could smash cut, I would love to like jump, say, 6 to 8 months to a year and a half in the future when we drag Harlan to a Walt Disney World, and he is just bawling, looking at the magic and the majesty that is the happiest place on earth. I gotta say, I'm gonna go to Star Wars Land. We're gonna go. It's gonna be great.
I don't think I would be able to think about anything other than Disney adults now if I ever went to Disneyland.
That's fine, dude, because guess what, dude? Yeah, what I was gonna say was New Year's resolution 2024. The boys do
Disney.
We do.
Wait, no.
Boys
wait,
do
rephrase
Disney.
that.
Disney boys doing each other. Wait, hold on.
At Disney.
Let me work this out. Disney
No.
Getting
does
wet
the
at Splash
boys.
Mountain.
There you go.
Getting wet at Splash
yeah,
Mountain.
something.
Dudes do Disney.
Thunder
Dudes do
Mountain.
Disney.
We're gonna. Okay, dudes. Okay, let's do that. Dudes do Disney.
There was a D right there the entire time.
You're telling me. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. So here's the thing. I actually would love if we could do a live episode from Disneyland where we're walking around with microphones and just doing our podcast.
We're not doing that.
Our podcast live. Talking.
Logistically, I'm gonna just kibosh that right now.
I honestly don't think that they let cameras in. I think there was that movie that came out a while ago that was shot in like black and white,
that movie
and they
was
did it all
crazy.
secretly.
Oh my
Never saw
god,
it.
the movie was
I
insane.
feel like we're getting off track.
Hold on.
Yeah, we're way off track now. So I obviously, when I do these, I like to go to Urban Dictionary and see what how the voice of the people defines these things. So the first one says, adults that are ironically obsessed with Disney, like grow up. Urban Dictionary loves to be a little shit, and I love
It's so snarky.
and I don't know if this is necessarily right because some of them are unironically obsessed with Disney. So I don't know, that maybe they meant unironically. The other one says, a millennial adult with or without kids that can't stop talking about Disney, including the movies and the parks. Even if they do have kids, they're still way more obsessed with it than their kids ever would be. They probably engage in casual Disney bounding, which we will talk about, and visit the theme parks at least once a year. They are obsessed with everything Disney and probably have Mickey Mouse bumper sticker and or tattoo. One of the most terrifyingly intense people you'll ever encounter.
Man, I you know what? And I'm a regular frequenter of the parks, and let me tell you, like, you can spot them. This is real. No, I've never considered this to be like something that you could name, but I've seen it.
Well, and as I was trying to, there was something about the Disney adult mentality because, like, it like you said, Kyle, it's very apparent. Like, if you're a Disney adult, we kind of know you're a Disney adult, and I had the realization that there is a probably large Venn diagram of Disney adults and theater kids, and they get the same sort of derision from the internet. And so I was just, that's fascinating because it is very much a theater kid feeling thing. It's like very over the top. It's like, look at me. And it has this loud sort of almost grating quality about those cultures that is just not for me personally.
I think there's a little nugget in there that we need to just briefly touch on because the ironically obsessed with Disney, I think, is at this point outdated for an Urban Dictionary definition because I remember maybe 10 years ago when that gray pullover sweatshirt at Urban Outfitters that just had Mickey Mouse on it was probably the hottest selling item I had ever fucking seen, and every other person who is a hip kid in college was wearing that. Ironically, because that was the absolute pinnacle of ironic clothing. I feel like some of those people bought it for that reason, and some of them maybe were just like, I'm down with this fucking mouse, dude.
I fucking love this goddamn mouse.
Yeah,
I'll die for this mouse. I'll die for this mouse.
Yeah, we had just come out of the era of like, do you guys remember all of the Looney Tunes sportswear shit where they were all dressed in like jerseys and stuff? That we had just come out of that, and I think people were like, well, these cartoons are pretty cool, but like, I like the OG ones a little better than these ones that are pandering to me in fucking Scottie Pippen's uniform.
It's called the Space Jam effect.
Yes, it's the Space Jam effect.
Yeah, that's what that's called.
So, as the slang term solidified and was used more commonly in the early 2020s, Disney adults began to spread in notoriety with increased media attention on viral shenanigans that took place within the Disney theme parks, particularly those about adults, some perceived as acting out or being childlike, which it's like the stunted, development, I think, is what a lot of people sort of just push on Disney adults too, as like, oh, they've got Peter Pan syndrome, which I'm sure is true to some extent, but like just to label as like, oh, you stop being a child, you're 34. It's like 34 is the new 24. Let's be real, guys.
So true.
Around this time, there were a bunch of TikTok videos, like I mentioned, that were being created by these Disney adults. However, okay, so this is where I have an issue with Disney adults sometimes.
This is where?
This is where, because they disrespect other people's boundaries in their pursuits as Disney adults.
All right.
By basically forcing the employees at these Disney parks to break character.
Interesting.
You mean dispel the magic?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to do that.
So I found a couple of articles, and I had seen videos of this happening, but I have a couple examples. So there was one instance where Walt Disney employees reported being inappropriately touched by tourists. In one instance, a cast member, which is what they call their employees at Disneyland, had to be taken to the hospital with neck injuries.
Oh my God.
While others had just been like straight up groped.
How did the neck injuries happen?
So, okay.
Yeah, I need to know.
So I looked through the article because that was like the headline. I was like, how the fuck do you do that? Did he like fucking like
horse collar him?
Off the top rope.
Little DDT action.
Come on, Goofy.
Yeah, fucking backbreaker. So one of the cast members, the costume they were wearing was like a big giant head, and somebody kept patting them on the head, like petting them.
Oh my
and
gosh.
the weight has to be like centered because those things are heavy. And so from repeatedly hitting them on the head, it like fucked their neck up.
Oh my God.
In the costume, and they had to go to the hospital. So Disney obviously released a statement encouraging employees to come forward with uncomfortable situations. When they did this, it was like a public statement, and apparently tourists and their families were reportedly confused about the park's no touching rule for costume characters. And
wait, what do you mean I can't grab Mickey's balls? What do you mean? That's why I paid for admission.
Hang on, it was a friendly pull up the skirt of Belle's dress. What do you mean?
Oh my God.
I'm playing around.
Yeah.
So in another instance, which this is the one that I saw the video of, the cast members take photos, right? You can like go up to them and have your photo taken with, you know, fucking Goofy and Mickey and shit. But there's strict guidelines of how you can do that as a tourist. And one woman did this with Gaston, and she started like feeling him up. And that's not a costume where there's like a mask. It was like, this is the guy, you know, the guy. Like there's no anonymity. And so she started like feeling up his breath, like his pecs. And in the video, he turns to her and goes, no, you're done. Like, and kicks her the fuck out.
Listen to me, young maid. You are gone. If I would want you, you would be mine, but I do not. You are gone.
Yeah, so that video got 11 million views. And I remember it going around like maybe a year ago or something. So this is what Disney adults do sometimes. It's in some cases just straight up sexual harassment. Like,
Yeah.
don't do this, or assault.
I think people don't understand that there's a human existing in those things, and it's like, this is not your playground at a certain point.
Yeah, the lines become blurred when people view Disneyland and the fantasy realm that they've cultivated as being that and only that, and not also business. Like, they're kind of blind to that fact. And I think a lot of the problems with Disney adults, or it's not always Disney adults, I don't want to put a blatant statement like that, but people doing this, and it happens at all types of other places. People are entitled. That's really what it comes down to. I have a couple other examples of weird shit Disney adults do. One was a guy, self-proclaimed Disney adult, going around drinking water from all of the different fountains in Disneyland and then rating them.
What does that mean? Oh, rating. I thought you said like raiding.
No, not rating.
Like,
no.
I'm like, how do you raid a fucking water? What are you doing to the water?
He's drinking the water from all the different fountains, and he got banned from Disney for doing this, but he posted like his whole video.
Okay.
Like, that's the bottom of the barrel what we're doing now, apparently, to get views as a Disney adult. Is drinking public water fountains. Another woman, there was a viral video of her crying after hugging Goofy, which sparked debate about whether the behavior was acceptable or not, although many of the top replies were defending her. That's, fine. And I already mentioned people crying after the park opened, but people also get married at Disneyland. And I saw a video, again, a while ago.
Engaged is the popular
or engaged,
one,
yeah, not married. But they broke into a part of the park where, like, you're not supposed to go. And then one of the park people, the cast members, excuse me.
Park people?
Sounds
like these crazy park people.
Dirty Carney.
But one of the cast members, they set up their phone to record it, broke into a section they weren't supposed to be in. A cast member went up to them and was like, you can't be here, you have to leave. And then the people getting engaged got mad at him for doing his job, and it's all on video. And they still posted it.
Because they
crazy.
thought they were correct. I will say, I looked up Gaston groped at Disney, and there's like immediately a million. I've now seen it. But I love that the articles devolve and the YouTube video titles devolve from like, Gaston says, madam, this is a meet and greet, not a meet and grope. All the way down to woman gets rejected by Gaston at Disney World, lol. It goes all the way down.
Oh man, to get rejected by Gaston.
I know.
That must have been a blow.
That's tough. That's tough.
So I mentioned Disney bounding earlier, and I just want to quickly, do either of you know what Disney bounding is?
Does that sound like some sort of weird S&M?
No, but I can see how you would make that mistake.
Yeah.
That's Disney binding.
Sure. Oh,
Disney.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah.
So Disney, you can't obviously just put on a fucking, Mike Wazowski costume and walk into the park, because that would be confusing and break the illusion for other patrons.
Sure.
They don't allow that. So what people do instead is they find rough facsimiles of normal civilian clothing, I guess I can call it, that represents the theme or colorways or attire that their favorite character would be wearing.
As a direct reference to their character, they're wearing these colors, these patterns, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than being like, because again, it's like you don't want to, like the park doesn't want specifically children to get confused and be like, oh, there's Sully from Monsters Inc. in a full-on fucking fur suit.
I mean, I've read stuff about the Disney operations team where there's like there's like 4 dudes in Mickey, or people in the Mickey outfit throughout the park, and they're like, Mickey 1's in sector 3, moving west at 3 knots, like trying to keep, like they can't have 2 at one time and a zone. Like they're very intentional about that, but trying to spread that Mickey love without breaking the immersion. So
it honestly feels like a military operation that they have to do.
It's awesome to watch live, let me tell you.
One thing that I just thought about, because I remember hearing about that with the Star Wars land, they didn't want anybody dressing up in like any sort of cosplay kind of thing, and I was thinking like that has to be a literal nightmare to try and keep track of things. Like when probably 80% of your job is to make sure someone doesn't get kidnapped at your facility. Like, people don't get that kind of implication of like, oh, I'm going to a thing. Should be fun. I should be having all the fun. It's like everyone who's there is like, I'm trying. It's like you threw a house party and you had a whole bunch of drunk adults come over. And you're like, please don't sit on anything or break anything. Like, this is, I'm just renting this place. Like, I don't think people understand that. That's like, their entire objective is like other people's safety.
Don't get hurt. Don't get abducted. Don't get taken. We don't have, there'll be one Liam Neeson.
I'm coming here to just drink beer and take crazy shits and eat all your food.
I want to puke on the Dumbo ride, okay? That's what I want to do. That's why I'm here.
It's my God-given right as an American.
I want to eat shitty chicken tenders, drink overpriced beer, and puke on the goddamn Dumbo ride.
Yeah, a lot of this obviously is, people kind of having the blinders on and not being empathetic really at the end of the day about the situations around them.
Yeah.
And this is kind of part of what a lot of like the analysis of like the Disney adult mentality is, that it feels kind of like a cult. It feels like this weird religious fanaticism because they are extremely passionate and dedicated to the Disney brand and its associated lifestyle, right? They prioritize visiting Disney over buying like merchandise over other aspects of their lives, which that is the crazy part, where you are forfeiting other like needs, like paying your bills or paying your rent or buying groceries so you can go to Disney. Like, that's the part that feels really bizarre.
Give your money to this corporation lord.
To this mouse.
This corpo nightmare lord. The mouse man.
Well, so like I typed out a thing as I was thinking about this like religious corporate like obsession. And I wrote, it's a little dystopian and bizarre to have such an intense love for a corporation, and it feels more like something you'd see in a dark, seedy cyberpunk setting where people are worshiping a company like Wayland Yutani. But this behavior toward the bright, colorful, child-centric corporation of Disney feels out of place, making that juxtaposition somehow more dystopian. Like, it makes sense. If you look at like the Blade Runner world, and like there would probably be like weirdo corpo fascists that are like, yes, I buy all of the corpo things, and it's dark and gritty, and that makes sense. But a company that is doing this with like fucking the House of Mouse, it's all primary colors. It just is so weird.
I mean, South Park has touched on this too, with like Mickey Mouse as like a Godfather type fucking mob boss character.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think it's that juxtaposition of the like optics versus the fanaticism.
You fuck with the mouse, you get your knees broken, dude. That's how it goes.
Also, I mentioned this before, not to mention all the other fucked up shit Disney has done. They've killed many animals in their fucking parks. Obviously the original highly racist cartoons of like Steamboat Willie and all that stuff. And it continues to this day. Disney, the brand, is often associated with nostalgia, fantasy, and escapism, which can be seen as a form of religious or spiritual experience. The factors can lead some people to view Disney fans as being overly devoted or even fanatical in their love for the brand. And again, while those things are fine and have benefits to a certain group of people, too much of it can become an unhealthy obsession, like I said earlier, where you forfeit your own well-being in order to sort of get a peek at Gaston's ass, I guess. It's just like,
well, it's a juicy
Gaston. Nice.
And this is the thing too that I was thinking about, is that Disney at this point can't really separate itself from being perceived as something that's for children only. So if you are a fan of it as a Disney adult, everybody that sees that is going to be like, oh, Disney is a child's brand. Therefore, anyone that likes Disney is acting like a child or not acting their age, which I think is where a lot of the backlash for Disney adults comes from. And on top of the fact that now they own 20th Century Fox, National Geographic, Marvel, Lucasfilm, A&E, ABC, and NBC. Like those are, now it's like muddying the waters of what is Disney anymore. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those lines have been so blurred. It is a massive conglomerate, and I think like this moniker really applies to like the classic animated cartoons. That's like kind of how I've always interpreted it.
Sure.
Like the people that need to watch The Jungle Book at least 3 times a year. I don't know. One of the things that like I encountered in real life that I'm about to send to you, I have no idea. I'm going to preface this if this is associated with a Disney adult, but it is in Disney font, and it is a bumper sticker. If one of you wants to read it, that I saw in real life.
It is in the magical, whimsical Disney font, which is probably produced out of license. It says it's on the back of a neon orange Jeep Wrangler.
Hell yeah, brother!
And it says powered by bitch dust. And actually, when Harlan mentioned Disney adults and started describing it, this is the exact image I had in my mind.
This
where
is
it's
also
like,
the exact energy that I feel like is what is the
Super
negative
aggressive
thing.
like a high quality vinyl Tinkerbell on the back of an Escalade, like
Yes.
stay back 5 feet, like that whole fucking thing. Don't tailgate me, bro. Like
The thing is that these people have money.
yeah, they're rich.
Yeah, people who can afford to go to Disneyland, which let me tell you is a fucking luxury.
Yeah, it costs money.
Yeah, I think the bitch dust category of Disney adult is maybe a little outside the purview of the classic Disney adult definition, because Disney adults are extremely sincere and like live the Disney lifestyle outside of being at Disney. Like, I don't think a real Disney adult that goes to Disneyland all the time would use the word bitch dust, let alone have it plastered on their Jeep Wrangler.
I disagree.
I also
Really?
disagree.
Okay.
I completely disagree.
This is someone who being like, I'm powered by fairy dust. It's like, no, I'm a tiger mom, and I'm powered by bitch dust.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe those are like the slightly older Disney adults then, because all the Disney adults I've seen in the research for this are they seem very sweet and innocent and sincere, and like literally don't look like they cuss. Like, and they use the word cuss.
when we eventually go to Disneyland, you're gonna see what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I also
for sure.
so this is also just dawning on me a little bit now, because Harland, you are.
Am I way out of my depth?
No.
No.
You're good. I think you're good.
No. That's not what I'm gonna say. You are a Northern Cal boy, and going down the line, Kyle, you're next in line, and I'm the most Southern California boy
That's true.
of this
That is
group.
true.
That is true.
And let me tell you, the closer that you get to Disney World, the House of Mouse, you encounter more of these types of people and this type of energy.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm not gonna say for certain, but I'm almost positive I saw this bumper sticker in Calabasas. So like that's that's what I'm talking about.
The person who got out of the car had a Wile E. Coyote tramp stamp too. And they kind of go hand in hand.
Jesus,
The Looney Tunes
God.
fandom is the same thing as the
Right.
the Disney.
Obviously, there is a spectrum of Disney adult. Yes.
You were not
Son,
anticipating John and I to
Calabasas.
fucking bring this
you
heat
didn't know that we
right
came
now.
with the fucking receipts right here.
No, honestly, if I had a feeling, because I know there's also overlap with like tattoo people and Disney adult stuff. My old coworker is in the tattoo scene, and she's like head to toe covered, and her sister goes Disney bounding and shit. And there is some like crossover within those like scenes, which is also like bizarre, but it also makes sense. It's so weird that it makes sense, but it's also confusing.
Immortalize this cartoon on your flesh.
all of it is essentially a counterculture of some form. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, the Rockabilly Kids are probably some Disney kids. Like
100%.
It's just like all of it has overlap. And I mean, this goes to your original point. Like, we can't be fucking mad at anybody who likes shit. Like, just don't make it other people's problems.
Don't
like,
grope
that's really,
people and don't grope kids in costumes.
If your good time is ruining someone else's good time, fucking reevaluate. Like,
Yeah, it's not a good time anymore.
John, exactly that though. That's so on point.
So, the other point that I was making about the sort of muddying the waters of what Disney owns now is that because like, and I see it all the time when like a new Marvel property or like when Deadpool 2 or 3 was announced, I saw a lot of people being like, oh, Disney's gonna ruin it. It's not gonna be R-rated because Disney owns it now. And it's like, that I think plays into some of the, like, what is Disney anymore? Like, can they do R-rated stuff? Like, is it gonna be more adult oriented, or how does this, how is that gonna affect all the other properties? So
I mean, if you scroll through Disney Plus, there's some stuff that is not for kids on there. Just say that.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, at this point, it is a company. It is not like the Disney of our childhood.
But the mindset of the Disney adult has to evolve and can't cling to the core anymore because Disney itself has like gone
trying
so far
to
up the line.
evolve.
Yeah. The Disney adults are holding down the line of this like classic idea of what it be. We're very
much
close
so.
to like make Disney great again. Is what's happening again.
Oh no, I'm totally happy with where it is currently.
No.
Like-
I didn't mean to say that we were proclaiming that. I was saying like I can see that being a thing in like 10 years.
Yeah, a hashtag in a couple months.
Harlan and I were having a conversation about how much I fucking love Andor right now, and like
It's probably the most adult thing on Disney that Disney owns
like,
right now.
I'm legitimately surprised that it hasn't been nominated for some sort of awards. Like, it is phenomenal. I think, like, you're getting to a point where everything is kind of moving under an umbrella, and frankly, like, I've been traumatized by some fucking Pixar movies, my man. So like, I don't know, like,
I'm sorry, when I was like 8 or 7 or whatever and watched Bambi, Disney, you ruined me.
Yeah, that's true.
From day one, basically. Like, they kind of always were edgy.
Maybe Disney adults have all just kind of trauma bonded. Like, we've gone through some shit.
We really have, dude. Yeah, fuck. Okay.
A big millennial Band-Aid with Mickey Mouse's visage upon it.
I didn't think by the end of this episode I was gonna have a real life-changing realization
Are we all
of like
Disney adults.
We're all Disney adults.
Man.
Oh fuck. I have a couple other things really quickly. I have a bullet point in here where I want to say it because of the sort of reaction from certain people who participate in similar Disney adult type things but don't realize it, because all this is, what we're talking about is basically cosplaying. It's a specific type of cosplaying, right?
Yeah.
And you see it all the time in other hobbies and interests when like meatheads put on their favorite sports guy's jersey and paint their face and scream at their TV when the team doesn't win.
Yeah.
And ironically, those are probably the same people who are the most harsh on Disney adults for doing basically the same thing that they're doing.
Yeah, they're team mouse, dude.
And yeah, and nobody wins and no one's right in that situation. Like, let people like what they like. If they start to hurt other people, then maybe sit them down and have a conversation about touching Gaston's Aston.
Or arrest them.
Or
Either way,
just arrest them.
Just nip it in the bud. Why not?
So this is the very last thing. This is the part where I'm like, what, why? Stop.
Okay.
There is a thing. Disney Resort has something called Golden Oak Resorts. It is located within the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. It is an quote unquote upscale residential community that people actually want to live in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
All the homes are built by Disney, designed by Imagineers, and they range from $2 to $10 million. Why would you want to live in an amusement park? I feel like the magic would wear off pretty quick if every time you went out on your balcony, you saw Disney's ass.
I think therapy is cheaper.
Therapy is way cheaper than $2 million. You're right, Kyle.
Harlan, people want to live in the Truman Show. People want to live in a non-reality reality.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
It's an escapism thing.
Yeah, it's totally
bizarre.
escapism and delusion, and like that's really what it is.
Yeah, so there's a YouTube channel where someone goes around who's moving into the neighborhood and they vlog the whole thing. Every single house has gold plaques that say the family's name on them.
Oh, Lord.
And they're custom made when the family moves in.
Those are 1950s.
Well, it feels like a cult. The houses themselves aren't even really that nice. They're kind of like McMansion-y looking. They don't really have any personality outside of the kitschy sort of Disney themed stuff. Like, there's a Mickey fountain outside, and all of the Mickey details, there's in the railings and in the chandeliers. There's shit that has like the fireworks, the Disney fireworks plastered all over it. There's a Mickey Mouse bidet in the bathroom. Which,
okay, well, you may have changed my opinion here.
I'm imagining it's Mickey's head cast in porcelain, shooting water up your ass.
Yeah, it's his mouth.
The elevator has a Beauty and the Beast stained glass on it. Everything
that's
is white.
fucking classy, huh?
It's white walls, white floor, white ceilings. Everything's fucking white.
I'm seeing images of a potential amazing limited series or maybe 8-season long sitcom kind of thing here.
It takes place in the fucking Golden Oak Resort.
Yes.
8 seasons.
8 seasons.
Yes, because we have to track. Hold on, I'll get to that. So what we have?
That's an offline conversation.
Hang on. Shark Tank can't be pitching whole entire seasons of TV shows.
Fine.
That's insane.
Let me start with the pilot then. It's a fucking white picket nuclear family kind of bullshit.
Yes, of course.
Except one of the kids is a goth kid and he's living in one of these
played
houses.
by Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, oh, sure. It's played by.
Yep.
I was thinking like Paul Dano, but like younger with like black hair and like Liberty Spikes and stuff. Like,
yeah, his character from Little Miss Sunshine.
yeah, but with Liberty Spikes. Liberty Spikes are important here.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
And I need
Integral.
like this like super punk rock rebellion thing happening within this gold-plated community. And then I want them to uncover some massive conspiracy for the corporation that owns this suburban nightmare. And they bring it down by the end of season 8.
They never
maybe
stopped
season 9.
killing all those birds. So in the video, the person that's talking about their new house they're about to move into says, quote, "If you ever have a big goal that you want to achieve, go freaking check it out. Like, go look at it in person. Like, if you want to move to Hawaii, go visit Hawaii.
Go freaking check it out.
It'll make the dream that much more real." And it's like, how fucking tone deaf can you possibly be?
That is not how that works.
Just like, I want to live here. Okay. You still
I'll
need
buy it, I
all
guess.
the money to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, stop. Just like calm down. I'm not talking about Disney adults specifically anymore.
Just people.
Just everybody. People need to calm down about the stuff that they're really into. Like, half the time, no one else is going to be into that stuff.
Much like this podcast.
Yeah, I've shared favorite records of mine with my best friends and fucking crickets back.
Yeah.
That's kind of how the rest of the world views your particular niche hobby or interest.
John said it best though.
100%.
Do your fucking.
Can you say it again?
I'm gonna say
verbatim.
I'm gonna say it exactly as John said it.
Do it.
Go for
Do
it.
the thing that you love to do so much until the point. Basically,
you have to be careful
if you're
because
doing the
if you
thing
keep
and you're
doing
fine,
the
then
thing,
you're fine.
it could,
But if you're
hurting
hurting hit my
people,
doorstep,
then
and the
stop.
doorman,
Mailman.
not the
It was
doorman.
actually
His name was actually
fine,
John.
as long as
Funny
you
enough,
talk
about it and set boundaries. Basically, is what John said.
Yeah, totally. So that's Disney adults. Don't shame them. Don't be mean to them. But like, I don't know, man. There's a lot. There was a lot. I was having a lot of thoughts and feelings about this particular topic that the internet kind of uses in a disparaging way. I'm glad that Disney adults are sort of reclaiming it for themselves, it seems.
I'm glad that we all went on this journey together.
Yeah, the varying levels of California really came through in this episode.
It was just like that dawned on me. I was like, holy shit, it really is like a radius thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the closer you are, the more likely you'll be infected by it.
Beam.
Just interactions, like people overlapping. Like I did my, I think the last time that I was actually at Disneyland was for my senior trip,
No
trip
shit.
in high school.
We have to go. We have to do it. It's actually really fun. We'll have a good time.
I've been wanting to go to Star Wars Land for fucking years now.
We have to do it. We have to do it.
Great. That's the end of this episode. We're going to Star Wars.
We're gonna become Disney adults. Let's do it.
I'll have to put on a smiling face and participate.
You'll enjoy it. You're gonna love it.
Wish me good luck out there, and we'll see you next week.
Not a cult.
and everyone wanted to know which president was the true throat goat. And
okay, I do remember this.
And they are all some sort of eldritch monsters of yore, right?
She was also selling videos of her farting in the jar.
I hate this so much. I hate everything about this.
yeah.
Security starboard.